do here is we're going to talk about the news of cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about life experiences with money, and we're also going to talk about how world events are influencing where we're going with crypto. So, I wanted to start off the show by talking about one of my friends. He told me the other night, he said, he's much older than I am. I hope he doesn't hear that. But he told me, he was like, we were talking about XRP, and he said, in 1980 I bought $10,000 worth of Apple stock. I said, oh. He was like, now there's a point to the story. He said, I sold all of it when it hit $100. I said, okay. He said, yeah, I made $1. He was like, but I shouldn't have sold it all. I should have made a little bit of a profit, maybe my initial investment, and just wrote it out. He said, if I would have done more research into the company and what they were going to do, I probably would have held more of it, at least. And he said he would have been a millionaire by now. And I did some a little bit of research on that, not too much, but he was right. If you had spent $1,000 on Apple stock in 1980, you would have been able to buy about 45 shares at 22 apiece. But Apple shares have split 4 times since then. When a stock splits and increases the number of shares an individual has, which puts the adjusted initial offering price at closer to 39 cents a share. Using that figure, an investment of $1,000 in Apple back in 1980 would yield close to $272,000 today. Well, he bought $10,000 worth. So, looking at that, and it took a long time for that Apple stock to get where it needed to go to be a millionaire, but things progressed more quickly in technology every year, Moore's Law. So just thinking of that back then, with the information we have today and how fast things move today versus back then, and looking at XRP and what they're doing and the technology they have, which is groundbreaking, it's amazing, and they have David Schwartz to back it up. That guy invented blockchain, so it's a no-brainer to me. And they're dealing with banks. Banks don't fail. Even when they do fail, they don't fail. So this is, my friend told me, he said, do not sell all of your XRP, no matter what the price goes up to. Just don't sell it all. I said I didn't plan on that. He was like, well, you're smarter than I am. I was like, no, I just thought that through. But there's a lot of similarities here. You've got Apple, which was leading in cutting edge technology. But at the time, in 1980, people were like, that was very new to them. And it's the same thing happening with us, with financial system. It's very new to us. We've always dealt with the old way of transferring money. And now that we have a new way, it's disrupting the whole system. So, that's all I wanted to say about that. So, I have a friend who has experience with this kind of deal, and I'm just looking at it, and he sat there and told me, he was like, that sounds like a great thing. He was like, it reminds me of Apple. Don't sell it all. He was like, sell a little bit if you have to, but if you don't have to, don't. I said, okay, all right. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. The price is low, but that's part of it. There's a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of things going on. But if you've actually done the research and looked into it, the company itself has everything going for it. So the fact that they're using XRP and we're invested in it and it's this low, all I can say is be happy. This is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. These are just my opinions. But I mean, if you look at it, it's a no-brainer. You just have some patience. You got a little bit of patience, and you become a millionaire, like my friend could have been. You know, I mean, it took 30 years, but I'm telling you, things move at a much rapid pace, a faster pace now than they did back then. In 1980, computers were pretty new, home computers, and now everybody's got one. Everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody's got this. Everybody's got that, and everything's just moving at a much faster pace. So I'm not expecting 30 years. I'm expecting not even 5, probably. Nobody knows. But I do know one thing, and that's Ripple has a sound company, and they've got everything going for them. And if they've got everything going for them, then they've got everything going for us too. Let's look at some stuff. Let's look at Twitter. Okay, so we've got. Let's see. Okay. Let's look at some stuff. Right here we got. I mean, everything we see is good. And obviously people get tired of getting all the good news and then nothing happens with the price. See, you just can't expect news to jump a price up on something like that every time. That's not exactly how it works. So we've got right here, Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse plans to bring in more legacy institutions. Boom, 100%. This is from MBK Crypto. Give him a shout out for this information. Let's read a little bit about this. Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse plans to bring in more legacy institutions. Despite the fresh wave of technological advancement in the payment front, the 46-year-old institution, SWIFT, continues to enjoy its position as the current standard for cross-border payments. The leading blockchain firm Ripple has been competing with SWIFT to emerge as the new age standard in terms of conducting cross-border payments. In a recent interview against the backdrop of Swell event, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse stated that SWIFT is a one-way messaging framework and further alluded, "You execute a SWIFT wire transaction and the only way you know I received it is when you send me a note saying, 'Hey, I sent you a wire.' Minor human errors in executing a traditional payment cause a lot of overhead, and that does not need to happen in a world where people can use better technology." Exactly. Just like Apple was emerging as the better technology and nobody could see the forest from the trees. Nowadays, we've seen it happen with the technology age. We've heard the stories. So, from our point of view, we're kind of like time travelers. We came from the past to the future, or vice versa. We're in the future now. We can look back at the past, and we can see where things are going. So, if you read a little bit and look at what's actually going on, and don't look at the price, that's the worst thing to do. If you sit there and just think, oh, the price, oh no, okay, well, you're not going to get anywhere in any means. Look at my friend. Look at what he did. He looked at the price, and that was all he cared about. And it hit $100. He was like, oh, it's going to go down. And I mean, it did, but he sold it all. So, just something to think about. So, I'm really just going to read these points right here. I don't want to read the whole thing and just bore y'all's ears off. What we have been is really taking that very rudimentary conversation infrastructure that was built decades ago and said, let's have a two-way messaging framework. We wanted to bring banks, financial institutions into the opportunities represented by these new technologies And you know, frankly, starting with the deep end, I will say that the deep end is going all the way into using digital assets to solve some of these problems, as opposed to gradually working them into that. It's a pretty big statement. He's just saying the deep end is like taking it all in. It's not a gradual effect, and that's what I'm saying. Like all their partnerships and everything they're doing, and all the people that were at Swell lining up to, you know, get into this, it's a no-brainer. We really just gotta have some patience. I pulled up this file too. This is a little bit about the lawsuit. We all know that's BS. Ripple files last bid to dismiss XRP securities lawsuit before court meeting. Even if XRP were a security, the investors suing Ripple brought their case far too late for it to proceed, the company said in a new filing. Plus, we all know it is not a security. You don't have all the world's powers. You don't have our government sitting there talking about it at meetings and it be a security. Sorry. To me, that was just kind of like some kind of tactic. It was either a tactic for the people who brought the lawsuit to get money out of them, or B, it was a ploy to give them enough time to push down the price a little bit, or something like that. I don't know. These are just my thoughts on it, but so another thing that I liked was that the billion escrow that was released this month went right back into escrow, and to me that's a good sign. To me that means that the buyers have to go and buy from the exchanges like we do. They have to buy from us, and I like that. That should show some price action soon. Let's go back to Twitter again, and let's do, who are we gonna look for? Okay, let's go to the top. Normally I can just look on here. This is what I do all day. That's why I named my channel Crypto Addict TV, because I'm a crypto addict. It sounds like I'm at a AA meeting. Hi, my name's Ollie, and I'm a crypto addict. Hi, Ollie. Hi. Okay, so El Crypto King here has some new information. So let's go check it out. Okay. So China is setting the wheels in motion to reduce the dominance of the US dollar. According to a recent report, it was revealed the Asian country was looking to amplify usage of its native fiat currency, yuan, over the US dollar in the digital asset industry. The US dollar had a major dominance over the global payment sector, hence market watchers indicated that China was looking forward to building better credentials in the digital asset industry. Yang Wang, a senior research fellow at FinTech Institute of Renmin University of China, stated, China now definitely comes out at the head of the list when it comes to digital currency technology. Yang also revealed that at press time, the CBDC developed by China's central bank called DCEP registered a peak transaction per second speed of over 220,000, which dwarfed the current speed of PayPal and Libra. They had 40,000 and 1,000 TPS respectively. The above data was a major indication that China is currently leaps and bounds ahead in terms of development in virtual currency technology. Yang also conveyed that the country was not leaving any stones unturned, whether the progression is in terms of security level or speed. The major advantage China held over the US was its population size. The researcher believed that if the country is able to promote its digital asset among its 1.4 billion people, the token would likely surpass its competitors in terms of market traffic. However, Yang decided to keep a lid on her prediction that China would oust the US dollar's dominance, and stated that the state-sponsored digital asset is likely to face several hindrances from the US government. A war of crypto tokens will break out next year, and soldiers will not only include central banks and governments, but also multinationals like Facebook and large cross-border financial institutions. The competition will be beyond imagination. So keep that in mind, that their CBDC is running, but it's still a walled garden, and it's still going to need a bridge asset if they want to interlink between other types of currency in other countries. Well, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm going to give a shout out to AMB Crypto and El Crypto King on Twitter for posting this on Twitter, and I want to give a shout out to MBK Crypto. Just thank you so much for listening, and hope you enjoyed. Hit that like and subscribe if you don't mind, and help this channel out. Alright, Crypto Addict out.